Ignition. All right, so what we're going to do today is get the engine harness into this car and feed the wires through that hole and connect up the computer, which I believe is sitting in that box there. So let's hop to it. Well, that went in not too bad. You put the large one in first and then you follow it with the smaller one and it will go through. So I did plug in the computer and the wire thickness actually fits into that grommet as per the original computer harness. So that worked out well. So that just needs to pop back into the hole in the firewall and button up this. It should hide under here nicely. So all I have left to do now is work out where all this goes. At least I know where 8 of them go, because 8 of them are injectors. The rest, who knows? Who knows? I actually know where that goes. Let's see how we go. You may well notice that I have removed the engine crane for accessibility, as you know, putting wiring in is not an easy thing, and climbing over an engine crane's not my idea of fun, so we'll move it away. Alrighty, a bit more work's been done. I would say 85% of the wiring harness is back on. Injectors are plugged in. Map sensor, O2 sensor. Come around here. Throttle bodies plugged in. Down there is the oil pressure. If we go in there, we've got temp and some other plug there, and that remaining 2 plugs there go to those relays. Can't plug the transmission in as there's no room, so can't do that at this stage. I think I have to drop the trans down to be able to get my hand in there, so I'm not worrying about that at the moment. Although there is an extra plug here that I'm not sure where that goes. Can't find anything on the Statesman where that plugged into, so yeah, we'll leave that one at the moment. Obviously, alternator, aircon, that kind of stuff's not plugged in because we don't have those pieces on. And there's a few grounds that need to be done, like there's one there that goes on the alternator, and there's one there that needs to go on the back of the head. There's just no room to get my hand back there, so not going on with that at the moment. I do need to get the coil and mount it probably on the shock tower like it was on the Statesman. Yeah, but it's coming along. Okay, tonight's tasks are find a spot for the ignition module. I'm thinking somewhere around here. I will get the air box, see where that's meant to go. I've got the fuse box sitting in place, not plugged in or anything like that, so it's just sitting there because I need to work out where I want to put the coil. On the Statesman it was on the shock tower, but I don't believe that to be original. I believe it to be on the firewall somewhere, so I'm thinking with this one, something like that, up and out of the way, and neaten up those wires later on. So I can get those installed tonight, I'll be happy. That's where the air box is going to sit. It's probably a little higher than what it's going to be because I've still got tools in the battery tray underneath, but it looks as though the only place is going to be something around there. So I'm going to have to make that work. I don't want to put it around here because I don't want it to get too hot from the engine. So I reckon there it is. And there you have it. Ignition module bolted in, plugged in. Ignition coil bolted on, plugged in. I've just got the map sensor resting there because I've got to get the bracket from the Statesman and put that over. But that's no biggie. So it's coming along, friends. It's coming along. Airbox and fuse box still just resting there, but progress is progress. All right, now that I've got the ignition module coil in where it wants to go, I think it's about time I start thinking about the dog eating stuff. Hey, stop eating stuff. It's about time to start thinking about the rest of the wiring. So here's what's going to go down. Okay, what I have here is the wiring that's going to complete this conversion. Now, the reason I went with the V6 conversions trans cross member is because I got it in a kit with this, which includes rest of the wiring harness for the motor and the under dash wiring. Also the speedo conversion from cable to run with the 4L60E, and the security box to make the thing run. Now in here we have, this is what goes in the engine bay. Has the relays, a couple of fuses, some plugs, blah blah blah. And then we have this one, which is that goes inside the car. Now I believe most of it's just plug and play, but I think there is 6 wires that has to be connected and spliced into the other one, which are these. Now that does include this and this, I think. So some of those wiring go onto that somewhere, and there's a plug that plugs into that, I think. But yeah, so that's all the wiring that I really technically have to do, as the rest of this just plugs straight in. So let's start mapping out where it's all going to go. Now here's a copy of the instructions that came with this. I'll be honest with you, I don't profess to be that good with electrical systems, so that's why I need help with this. But hopefully I can figure out where those wires go. That looks pretty straightforward. Looking at this thing, I think this is where I'm going to struggle. Very vague are the instructions. Very vague. Red wire equals ignition. Okay. Black wire equals earth to our black. There's no black there. White wire pulse to our violet or violet white. Blue wire pulse to speedo. I'm sure we can find that one. I'll figure it out. First signs of this harness are pretty good. Obviously, I've just got it resting there, but these 3 plugs here just go onto that plug, and that plug. That's done. So this one here goes through and connects to the other loom under the dash. And I'm guessing these ones here are going to go into that loom there somewhere. All right, the more I look, the more I start to understand. This one here goes to the body control module. This one here goes to the plug above the computer, which I have in the car, which is that one right there. This one here is your OBD2 port, I believe. Then we've got neutral safety switch right here. You've got your engine check light, or whatever it's called, which you need apparently. And then I think these 3 wires here are what they plug into. And that's for the speedo. And then I think there's 1 wire on that, the white wire, which is got to be connected to the pulse from the transducer, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think. And then we've got obviously an earth on there, and that green one goes to the reverse lights. I think that's about it. Doesn't seem that hard, does it? Yes, it does. All right, I'll keep sussing this out and see if I can make some progress. Okay, if you excuse the mess, I'll explain a little bit what's going on here. This is the under dash loom. I have it plugged in there. I have the BCM plugged in. It's all good. I have the speed box here. Where was I up to on that? Well, I did have them plugged into those wires there, but they're falling out. So 3 of those wires go, and then I think the blue one goes to the pulse signal. So that's under the bonnet thing. Still looking for that at the moment. We know that port doesn't get used. We come over here. It turns out that on the shifter you run the VR little module thing there, because this plugs straight into that. Still got to look for the reverse lights. Turns out you need the power economy switch for the transmission. Those 2 wires go into that, so I'll sort that out properly. Obviously that's the engine warning light. We'll find a place for that. And I'm thinking this power economy switch, I'll hide it somewhere in the console. Only thing that I'm not sure of under here is the one with the plug for the BCM has this random blue wire, which doesn't explain where that goes. If you look in the instructions, it says brown dash lights, we didn't get that wire, blah blah blah. It has everything for everything else except that. And if you look on the BCM, the blue wire is number 13. It says low speed fan relay. Do I need a low speed fan relay? I don't know. That's where I'm up to in the car, so that's almost sorted. Roughly worked out. Under the bonnet is proving to be a little bit more difficult because I don't believe this this wiring harness here to be factory, so it's a little hard tracing down wires. But I've got the workshop manual here. I've worked out that this one here is the speed sensor one, but I can't find it because none of the colors are the same. But that works out to be here, which is panel D, which has the speedo input, the tacho, and the temperature. So that's the one that I'm looking for. I just need to find it. Then I just need ignition key and fuel pump and alternator and start from key. So I'm getting there slowly. It's just a little hard tracing things down when nothing seems to be factory. And I'm just looking at the old wiring harness and stuff that came out of the car, and it's been butchered. This is the plug that goes to the computer for the EFI. Look at the dodginess in there. It's been hacked up. That red tape is joining a brown wire to I don't even know what color. And then there's just bare wires and stuff hanging around in there. So how that never caught fire, I don't know. Maybe that's why the fuse box was melted. Who knows? But I will continue on tracing down wires and see how I go. Well, I'm not sure what went on here, but I lost the audio footage, so I'm going to have to do a voiceover and try and remember what I said. So basically what's happening is I've got electricity here, but I can't get power to the fuse box, and I don't know why, but if I look over at these wires, I still need to connect them. And if you look at this little pamphlet here, it tells you where they want to go, but I've got no idea where they go while I look at the wires. But if I can move around to the other side of the car, I can show you what's really going on. Yeah, move over the other side. Yeah, that's the battery. That's an engine. Yes, I've got lots of wiring diagrams here trying to help me. But if you look there, I didn't have the earth connected up properly, so nothing was grounding because I had no body grounding, so I couldn't get an earth anywhere. But yeah, once I grounded that earth, the car was grounded, and that was a little bit of progress. Now, as I come around to the side of the car here, I had no power to the fuse box, and I didn't know why until I was looking at the old VK loom and thought, I wonder what this plugs go in here. Like, there's a 6-pin plug connector. So what I did was I got the old battery harness from the VK, plugged it into that 6-pin plug, and just chucked the jump pack on the battery terminals, and that gave me power to the fuse box, which then in turn, if we go around to the key here, gave me all my dash and all that kind of stuff, because yeah, it had nothing before. So every time I turned the key, nothing happened. So if you turn the key there, then we've got the dash instruments working. But that is not the whole end of the story. Like, there was still a few more things that I had to figure out. But yeah, nowhere in these instructions anywhere did it say you need to run power to that plug to get
any electricity to the rest of the car. No mention whatsoever, so I did manage to figure that out on my own. And then not long after I got that figured out, Pete on YouTube here sent me a message saying, oh, don't forget to run power to that said plug, and you will, or you'll be scratching your head thinking, why doesn't anything work? So that's what happened there. Pretty much, yeah, that's the whole situation here. And let's get back to the me with the real audio.
All right, guys, we've got a major breakthrough here. This has just happened, so let me show you what has occurred. Hopefully, it works without any issues. It turns over. It's turning over. Ew. How good is that? Progress. Yeah. Woo! Well, I thought I would, now that it's turning over, I thought I'd go and spray a bit of down the throttle bottle and see if it'll pop off, but nope, no fire. So I still do have a few wires left to connect. That may be the reason why it's not firing. I'm going to check for spark, see if it's got spark. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's the few wires that I haven't got connected up. That's why it's not firing. So I hate to leave you on a knife's edge and teetering on how close it's going to run, but I've got to sit here and look at a few more wires for a few more hours and figure out where they go before I can get it to fire. So you'll see that in the next video. So sorry, but unfortunately that's where I'm going to end this one. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao. Hopefully it'll be running in the next one. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.